Salut à tous. Bon bah comme vous appelez mon titre à l'écran du qu'on se retrouve à nouveau sur SteelRising, ma foi 12e let's play, tout ça, je vais reprendre la suite en ce bon début de matin. Bref, allez go. Voilà, je suis pas loin de la fin, j'en profite pour compléter quand même un peu les quêtes annexes, tout ça. Ça avance. Alors, on va faire une petite aparté, j'en profite que je suis un peu seul pour pouvoir du coup parler calmement, tout ça. J'ai reçu quand même quelques messages sur la PSN pour savoir ce que donnait le jeu. Donc, comme je sais qu'ils regardent aussi la chaîne, on va en profiter à savoir ce que je pensais de ce jeu. Alors, c'est vrai qu'au début, j'étais un petit peu dubitatif, bien que j'ai quand même apprécié le départ du jeu. Parce que, voilà, il est quand même assez équilibré, c'est pas trop abusé. Il y a 2-3 points sur lesquels j'avais un peu peur sur le jeu, notamment le fait de tomber sur des gros boss, tout ça, de se dire bah tiens, j'ai plus de bombes, en fait je passerai pas le boss. Bon, le jeu offre tout ce qu'il faut, on peut racheter quand on veut, tout ça, s'il faut farmer, bon c'est pas ceci, les mobs rapportent quand même. Bon, bref, il y a tout ce qu'il faut. Alors vraiment le seul point qui me fâcherait, je dirais dans le jeu pour ceux qui seraient intéressés, bon, c'est plutôt l'histoire quoi. L'histoire est vraiment voilà, assez sympa à suivre, elle est quand même assez bien ficelée, il y a beaucoup de choses à voir, notamment avec les quêtes annexes. Après, ce qui est un peu chiant, je trouve, et ça, je l'ai déjà expliqué dans les let's play précédents, c'est le fait qu'en fait, le principe de l'histoire, tu dois trouver le mec qui a créé les fameuses machines qui détruisent tout, enfin qui tuent tout le monde. Enfin, c'est un peu plus complexe que ça. Ça c'est pas à proprement lui, enfin c'est pas lui à proprement parler. Disons plutôt qu'il a été obligé de le faire. Mais bon, tu dois le trouver. Le problème c'est que tu vas trouver un autre mec qui va dire d'aller trouver un autre mec, puis encore un autre, et ainsi de suite pour aller finalement trouver le dernier. Donc ouais, c'est un peu bizarre comme principe, mais bon, voilà, c'est comme ça. Enfin bref. Bon, sinon à part ça, ça va quand même. On rencontre pas mal de personnages assez intéressants. Ça c'est bien fait, c'est plutôt cool. Puis en plus on se retrouve en plein Paris, tout ça, donc ça va. Autant au début du jeu quand tu l'attaques niveau décor, oh, c'est pas transcendant non plus. Tu vois que ça manque clairement de détails, tout ça. Mais n'empêche que une fois que tu arrives dans les quêtes annexes et que tu les fais, tu vas te rendre compte quand même qu'il y a certaines zones qui sont assez jolies. Franchement, et assez propres. Là-dessus, il n'y a pas photo. Et assez détaillées. Donc ça fait plaisir. Il y a vraiment de jolis coins quand même dans le jeu. Donc ça va. Ça pourrait être pire. Après niveau gameplay, bon, c'est un peu particulier. Ça c'est vrai que je pourrais dire il n'y a pas franchement de variété dans les coups, etc. Après, il n'y en a pas plus dans un Dark Souls, à titre d'exemple, puisqu'il n'y a pas de compétences à proprement parler d'armes, comme tu pourrais débloquer dans un Nioh ou dans un autre jeu. Enfin, bon, forcément ça limite un peu le gameplay. Mais après, t'as quand même 3 coups de dispo par arme. Ça aussi, on va demander s'il y avait des techniques de compétences. Alors, oui et non. Grosso modo, tu vas avoir ton coup basique avec R1. Tiens. Donc là, on est sur une espèce de massue, ça fait un peu mal, forcément. Tu peux charger avec R2, ce qui fait quand même beaucoup de dégâts. Et tu vas avoir sur L2 ce genre d'attaque. Donc là, c'est une des capacités de l'arme. Je sais pas si on peut appeler ça compétence. Chacun le verra comme il le voit, mais on va dire plutôt une capacité. Et grosso modo, dans le jeu, on va pouvoir récolter des balles de fusil. On peut le voir en bas à gauche en bleu, il y a 5 balles, j'en ai 777. C'est des balles de fusil élémentaires. Ce genre de balles va servir par exemple sur certaines armes comme celle-ci. Donc ce qui est bien, c'est que tu n'es pas obligé d'avoir un flingue, tu as des capacités comme celle-ci. Et franchement, c'est violent. En tout cas, que la massue par exemple. Après, bon, tu as d'autres types d'armes qui n'utilisent pas ce genre de balles élémentaires, genre le bouclier par exemple, que tu vas retrouver ici. Bon. Là, ce sera plus pour aller se mettre en garde. Donc là, à titre d'exemple, on va plutôt aller chercher celui-ci. C'est dans le jeu, du coup, tu vas récupérer des armes qui sont plus ou moins pareilles, enfin semblables. C'est-à-dire que là, on a ce bouclier-là qui nous permet, comme on peut le voir, de le mettre en entier. C'est 2 espèces d'éventails qu'on va pouvoir mettre pour former un bouclier. En plus du coup basique, du coup chargé. Hop. Il y a qu'elle deux. Donc au lieu d'utiliser le bas élémentaire, c'est une garde quoi. Alors quand je dis assez semblable, c'est parce que les autres sont des éventails aussi par exemple, sauf qu'au lieu de se mettre en bouclier, là par exemple c'est une parade. Il y en a un autre, il va t'envoyer par exemple des couteaux. Donc on a quand même plusieurs variétés au niveau de la technique, on va dire, enfin de la capacité de cette arme en question, avec L2. Et c'est la même chose pour les autres armes. Tu peux les avoir en double, etc. Ben, après c'est plus ou moins différent. Tu prends l'exemple de la chaîne qu'on a ici. Même chose, quand tu vas appuyer L2, tu utilises 2 balles de fusil pour charger un coup enflammé au sol, ce que je trouve pas d'ailleurs très efficace. Et si tu pars sur une autre, genre par exemple le fléau lance-disque, alors pareil, c'est la même chose, c'est une chaîne. Et quand tu appuies L2, tu vois, ça fait du dégât assez loin. Enfin c'est différent, et ils ont tous leur propre capacité, on va dire ça comme ça. Donc ça reste sympa, mais ça reste super limité. Après, ouais, tu passes, c'est efficace avec certaines armes, donc tu t'en fous, c'est le principal. Après, ouais, c'est sûr, c'est dommage, j'aurais aimé quelques compétences d'armes, genre à la Nioh, tu vois, que ça puisse tabasser un peu plus. Mais bon. Après, côté armure, bref, ouais, c'est le même principe qu'un Nioh par exemple, et compagnie, tu vas retrouver des stats qui vont monter plus ou moins suivant ce que tu vas mettre. Un peu comme Dark Souls aussi du coup, avec des résistances à tel élément, etc. Bon, t'as quelques armures dans le jeu, mais après, franchement, quand on y regarde, je me suis pas trop intéressé plus que ça, et ça me permet de passer. Donc, bon, c'est que ça n'influence pas suffisamment, on va dire, à ce niveau-là. Quand tu regardes l'armure, ça bouge toujours à peine. Après, ce que j'aime bien aussi, c'est les boîtiers. Ça, c'est pas trop mal. Alors, à la manière de certains jeux, tu peux mettre certaines compétences. Bah ici, ça va être un peu la même chose. Tu as les boîtiers, ce qu'on va appeler des compétences que tu vas pouvoir assigner sur 4 emplacements. 4 emplacements que tu vas pouvoir monter sur 3 niveaux. Donc là, on voit le premier, je suis au niveau 3. Sachant que les boîtiers, donc du coup, que tu vas récupérer, c'est les fameuses compétences, sont sur 3 niveaux. Tu as le 1, le 2 et le 3. Donc évidemment, si tu as un boîtier qui est monté, enfin qui est de niveau 3, et que ton emplacement est monté niveau 1, tu pourras pas le porter. Logique. Bah, c'est assez sympa. Tu as des effets à porter qui sont plus ou moins intéressants, dégâts physiques, etc. Il y a pas mal de choses assez variées. Là-dessus, je pense qu'il y a moyen de se taper un bon petit build à la fin. À regarder une fois que j'aurai tout débloqué, ou presque. Ça peut être quand même plutôt intéressant, je pense, pour se faire un truc qui tabasse bien. Mais après, pareil, ça a essayé tout ce que propose le jeu, quoi. Enfin bref. Du coup, est-ce que le jeu vaut le coup pour 50 balles? Bah, personnellement, je suis plutôt pas déçu. Donc, ouais, pour moi, oui, il vaut quand même le coup. Après, ouais, c'est pas à la hauteur d'un Dark Souls, c'est pas à la hauteur d'un Nioh, c'est encore un cran en dessous, hein. Mais voilà, on va dire que si vous avez rien d'autre à vous faire sous la dent en attendant un nouveau jeu, pourquoi pas. Franchement, il n'y a pas à hésiter, il reste assez sympa. Et en termes de difficulté, il n'est pas abusif, il reste assez bien équilibré, pas comme certains jeux qui, depuis quelques temps maintenant, jouent à qui à la plus dure, tu vois. Non, non, pas la plus grosse, la plus dure. Là, je parle de difficulté. Et franchement, ça en est abusé, quoi. C'est d'un ridicule. Des fois, ça atteint l'absurdité sur certains jeux, quand même. Attends, c'est quoi ça, 310? Ah, allez, là. Comme je dis souvent, cette manie aussi, tu vois, de mettre une jauge, enfin une double jauge de vie à un boss et compagnie. Ah, moi, pour moi, y a rien de plus relou, tu vois. Ça, je supporte pas ça dans les jeux. Je déteste ça. Avoir la surprise d'avoir une deuxième barre de vie alors que tu viens de galérer contre un boss, ça te dégoûte littéralement. Je suis vraiment pas fan. Autant j'adore la difficulté, mais comme je disais, comme je dis toujours, j'aime la difficulté quand elle est maîtrisée, quoi. Pas l'absurdité. Surtout quand les mecs sont juste là pour jouer à qui a la plus dure. Non merci. Ça m'intéresse pas. D'ailleurs, on m'a posé encore la question hier, pourquoi je continuais pas Timésia. Timésia, tu vois, fait justement partie de cette histoire de boss à double barre de vie. Alors ça, je supporte pas. Du coup, ça a été un gros frein pour moi, tu vois, je suis pas fan. Sachant que dans Timésia, le niveau d'esquive est quand même assez chaotique. Tiens, je tente cette gosse. Le jeu est quand même assez intéressant au niveau du gameplay, tu vois, ça reste quand même assez sympa. Mais il est vraiment trop imprécis sur les esquives et compagnie, quoi. Enfin non, c'est pas possible, quoi. C'est trop chiant, quoi. Quand t'as un boss qui est vraiment casse-couille, hein. Alors c'est vrai qu'on peut améliorer le niveau d'esquive, il paraît et compagnie, en avançant dans le jeu. Bref, ouais, non, s'il faut avancer pour avoir un niveau potable au niveau de l'esquive, c'est bon, quoi. C'est un peu ridicule, quoi. C'est chiant. Désolé pour ceux qui l'ont apprécié. Pouch. Puis bon, outre ça, enfin les dégâts sont trop énormes. Je trouve dans Timédia c'est un peu abusé ce qu'ils nous foutent dans la tronche. C'est un peu pénible en fait. T'as pas cette sensation de maîtriser le gameplay, tu vois, d'avoir vraiment la précision d'un Nioh hein, ou d'un Dark Souls. Et ça c'est assez pénible. J'aime vraiment pas ça dans les jeux où t'as pas le contrôle entier du jeu, quoi. Enfin du gameplay. Bon après je suis toujours chiant là-dessus, hein. Ça pour ceux qui suivent la chaîne vous le savez. J'aime bien quand c'est vraiment bien fait, quand c'est précis, tout ça dans le gameplay, et j'en passe. J'ai toujours été comme ça, puis je changerai pas. D'ailleurs j'ai regretté de ne pas l'avoir pris en boîte finalement, parce que du coup je l'ai vu en boîte, j'aurais pu le revendre, tu vois. C'est vrai que depuis quelques temps, j'ai tendance à prendre en démat. Et c'est vrai que je me rends compte qu'il y a certains jeux quand même qui sont pas si top que ça et qui mériteraient d'être revendus. Du coup je regrette un peu pour certains. Là à l'inverse, je suis SteelRising en boîte, tu vois, mais non, lui il partira pas. Je compte bien le garder, il a un style vraiment particulier que j'apprécie quand même. Surtout dans certaines zones, il a une ambiance bien à lui, franchement c'est cool quand même. Après c'est vrai que j'avais un peu peur pour le doublage au début, hein. Je trouve ça un peu chelou d'avoir une traduction anglaise, hein. C'est un jeu hein, qui se passe en France. Et surtout hein, d'avoir quelques mots placés ci et là en français dans les phrases. Mais finalement tout y fait, je trouve ça à son charme, c'est assez sympa. Bon c'est vrai qu'une traduction complète aurait pu être sympa aussi quand même. Après me tarde quand même d'arriver au bout histoire de voir... Oh tiens, intéressant ça, je l'avais pas vu, ah, je suis arrivé. Ok d'accord. Je suis arrivé au point que je cherchais hier et que j'avais pas trouvé. Mais impeccable. Enfin bref, en tout cas côté heure, tout ça, il y a quand même de quoi faire et puis j'ai hâte de voir s'il y a New Game Plus. J'ai hâte de voir un petit peu ce que propose le jeu à ce niveau-là.
Franciscus Antonius. What unusual names. Whose cane could this be? Perhaps the guests at the Cordelier can enlighten me.
Alors, ce qui est assez intéressant aussi, tiens, je parlais de quête annexe hier avec Laura. où on trouvait qu'effectivement dans certains jeux les quêtes étaient pas forcément super top. Et tu vois ce que je lui ai expliqué, hein, je trouvais ça dommage justement dans les quêtes annexes qu'on n'ait pas du bon loot pour nous forcer, tu vois, à les faire, enfin, ou en tout cas à les finir et avoir un sentiment de satisfaction, tu vois, te dire que tu les as pas fait pour rien. Et c'est vrai que dans le jeu là, c'est ce que j'apprécie aussi du coup. Tu fais les quêtes annexes, tu as des coffres avec quand même des tenues, des armes et compagnie. Donc là c'est vraiment intéressant quand même. Puis bon, les quêtes annexes restent assez intéressantes aussi, pour certaines, donc ça va. Attends, du coup, hop, il faut que je retourne au tout début. C'est que, hop, auto rapide. Alors ce qui est assez intéressant ici aussi, je trouve, c'est que le jeu te force pas forcément à monter en level de ouf. Ça fait un petit moment que je monte quasiment plus aucun niveau dessus. Je dois être niveau 20, je sais plus combien. Alors si on le voit d'ailleurs, je sais même pas si on peut avoir mon niveau. Statistique peut-être. Ouais, niveau 27. Ouais. Enfin bref, il n'y a pas besoin de monter un niveau de fou pour pouvoir passer dans les zones. Donc ça c'est pas mal non plus je trouve. À partir du moment que t'as une arme que t'as montée qui tabasse bien, une armure à peu près potable, ça passe. C'est bien. Si je compte pas le nombre de jeux quand même où t'es censé, hein, enfin ou même t'es obligé de monter en niveau pour vraiment pouvoir passer plus facilement quoi. Bon après quelque chose me dit que dans ce jeu là je pense pas qu'on aille monter faire niveau 100 tu vois, au niveau 200 hein, je pense pas. Après peut-être je me trompe hein.
Monsieur Necker,
Madame?
do the names Franciscus Antonius mean anything to you?
No, nothing at all. I'm very sorry that I'm of no help to you.
Monsieur Necker,
Madame? Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
your wife. You may rest easy, monsieur. Your wife escaped the massacre. She returned home and left you this letter.
Mon Dieu. She's going to meet our daughter and son-in-law at our charity hospital.
She may already be there.
Madame, I did not dare to dream of such an outcome. My wife and daughter. Can you imagine? And I thought I had lost both of them. The three of us will be able to leave the kingdom and put these horrors behind us forever.
What about the bonds?
Oh, the bonds. Do with them as you see fit. As long as the king does not use them. As for me, I'm going to find my family at once. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I pray that your efforts will be successful. Adieu, madame. Adieu.
Minister Necker has given his bonds to me.
That's quite a nice little sum. Can you imagine? That's 1/5 of the kingdom's entire wealth.
Wealth that the king squanders for his personal benefit according to his whims.
Ma foi.
Monsieur Necker certainly has been very generous to his adoptive country.
Generous? I have my doubts. The loan was granted at a very high rate. So high, in fact, that it would have dug the deficit into an even deeper state of abyss.
Eh bien, messieurs, to what use shall we employ this boonful fortune?
If I could spend it, I'd do everything I could to return to the people their confiscated freedom. To begin, I would get them the bread they so sorely need. It is only after the scourge of famine has been vanquished that armed patriots might then be able to rise up against despotism.
And where will you find wheat, Robespierre? Will you steal it from under the noses of the automats who have sworn to destroy the human race? As for arming the people, this is another one of your delusions. How could your ragged pack of wretches win any sort of battle that'd be unable to lift a sword?
When you insult the people, you insult me, Monsieur de Lafayette.
I am not insulting anyone, Robespierre. But I happen to know what it takes to fight. Unlike you. Monsieur, I was but a lad of 15 when I took up arms. And everyone here knows my role in the liberation of America from British rule. If you allow me to dispose of these bonds, I will found an army that will annihilate the Clockwork King's diabolical machines. As soon as I have the opportunity to leave Paris, I will rally the officers and troops that are stationed in the provinces. Then, I will call for a mass uprising. I will have more than enough money to pay their wages and procure the weapons we need.
And you will have obedient troops at your beck and call, ready to repress anyone who challenges your power.
These troops will only serve the will of the people. I swear it.
Are you sure that the king has spared the rest of the kingdom, Monsieur le Marquis?
I am almost certain of it, mon père. Despite all of his resources, the king does not have enough manpower to occupy all the garrisons in the country.
Aegis, no member of this assembly can force your hand. The choice is yours. To whom will you entrust Monsieur Necker's bonds?
Maximilien de Robespierre. I have chosen to entrust this fortune to you.
Very well, madame. I promise that I will use it for one purpose only. Freedom for the people and by the people. When a monarch violates the people's most fundamental rights, insurrection is their most sacred and indispensable duty. But we must be wary of warmongers, who claim to defend our happiness.
Bon sang, am I the only one who is weary of hearing these tiresome monologues?
For they wish only to silence us, and take their own turn at playing tyrant.
Congratulations, Aegis. You've chosen a speechifier as Commander-in-Chief. I am sure the king will be delighted to hear this. He need not fear for his throne now.
Cool. Et un trophée. Que tu me dis que j'aurais fait l'autre choix, j'aurais un trophée aussi.
Monsieur Raymond.
Go on, Aegis.
I went to the Hotel de Massiac as agreed. What I discovered goes beyond your darkest conjectures. The club's members have no intention of merely depriving their slaves of rest. Rather, with the king's support, they plan to replace them with automat harvesters. The Count of Cagliostro is behind the plan.
Ma foi. But such a plan would certainly only improve the lot of these unfortunate people.
You are mistaken, mon père. If the planters get their way, they will have a greater need of slaves than ever. Only this time, they intend to slaughter them to power their machines.
Quelle abomination!
Par tous les saints.
4 days ago, the Paris Guard captured 100 black people. They were to be sacrificed as part of an experiment to test the effectiveness of the automat harvesters. Luckily, I was able to prevent the massacre.
Where are they now?
In a place they call the Dépôt des Noirs. I don't know where it is, but I managed to get the key. It bears the inscription, Tour du Diable.
The Devil's Tower is a prison in Vincennes, within the chateau walls.
That's 3 leagues from here. We'll only be able to free the prisoners once we're able to move freely ourselves.
At least they were spared the fate that the king and his accomplices had planned for them.
And what will you do with the 2 servants you employ, Monsieur Raymond?
I will continue to treat them well, as I always have.
However, under the laws you insist on following, they will become slaves again the moment they leave the kingdom for Saint-Domingue.
Certainly not, Monsieur de Robespierre. What kind of a man would I be if what I have heard had not opened my eyes? The planters of Massiac have been proven to be nothing but avaricious murderers. I thought I was dealing with opposition, but now I discover them to be vile enemies. from whom it would be vain to expect any compromise. From this day on, I will fight against their interests with all my strength, and will not lay down my arms until the last slave in the Empire has been freed.
Rest assured, then, that the people will fight by your side, Monsieur Raymond.
That's the spirit, my friends. Vive l'égalité.
Oh bah cool, un trophée de plus. Bien.
Aegis, I'd like to talk to you about my research. Do you have a few moments to spare for me?
Certainly, mon père. I am listening.
I've carefully collected the testimony of our companions here. Then I compared them with the observations made during my investigation of the man who calls himself Cagliostro. I came to quite the shocking conclusion. I believe I have discovered how the royal automats remain constantly in motion, like clocks that never need winding. They get their energy from the souls of the dead, Aegis. They drink from the anima essence that permeates the purgatory described by Monseigneur de la Fare. These machines feed on the dead. The greater the massacre, the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
Is there any way to stop the bloodshed, mon père?
I believe there is always hope, Aegis. As long as I remain free to pursue my research, I will never lose faith. I keep thinking about the three Nemes. These echoes. All of this is clearly related to Nicholas Flamel's work.
The alchemist?
Precisely, mon ami. And this leads me to fear the worst.
What have we to fear from an alchemist who died nearly 4 centuries ago?
Not him, per se. Rather, the heretic who is exploiting his discoveries. This poses a grave danger to us all.
What do you fear, mon père?
What do I fear? Nearly 2 months ago, the king forbade anyone from setting foot inside the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, near the Hôtel de Ville. He had the priests forcibly removed. They hardly even had time to save the church's sacred relics. Since then, only our Father in Heaven knows what they've been doing there, hidden away from the people of Paris.
Oh dear. Flamel's tomb.
My thoughts exactly, Monseigneur. Legend has it that Flamel was buried with his lapis philosophorum.
What is the lapis philosophorum, mon père?
The Philosopher's Stone. Where do I begin? No one knows its true nature, or even what it might look like. All that is known is that it is said to grant untold riches and eternal life to whoever possesses it. Its very existence is questioned, of course. But if it's true, just imagine what sinister purpose the king and his accomplices might find for it. We must elucidate this matter at any cost.
Where is this tomb?
In the church's crypt. The priests always ensured that it remained undisturbed, despite the mystery surrounding it. But now they're no longer there to protect it. We need to know for certain.
Ben n'empêche, si tu veux vraiment mettre une bout à bout hein, toute l'histoire, t'es obligé de faire les quêtes annexes.
Will you help us get to the bottom of this?
C'est pas juste des quêtes comme ça, secondaires, hors propos et tout. Hein. C'est vraiment lié à l'histoire.
The penitent's door behind the Châtelet leads to the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. It's only opened on Good Friday, but this year, I had the honor and good fortune to lead the procession. Here is the key.
Franciscus Antonius. Does that mean anything to you?
Let's see. François Antoine. No, that doesn't mean anything to me, I'm afraid. Désolé, ma chère.
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
Franciscus Antonius. Do these names mean anything specific to you?
François Antoine. Hold on. Of course. That's the master arquebusier who killed the beast of Gévaudan. The affair took place during the reign of Louis the Beloved, just a few leagues from the castle where I grew up. I was still a young boy, but I remember it like it was yesterday. It caused a stir all over the country.
I doubt that it has anything to do with my case.
I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that.
Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
General, there is an alarming rumor about you going around.
Huh. Just one, is there?
You are accused of having delivered the troops who had gathered in the Place Dauphine over to the king.
Calumny. This is nothing less than vile slander. I am the staunchest opponent of the bloodthirsty tyrant who claims to rule us. What's more, I did not call for the uprising. The National Guard came together on their own. This was the work of soldiers who rebelled and called on the people to rise up and defend Paris. It was only after they had gathered that the troops asked me to lead them. Alas, I was too late. But tell me, where did you hear this rumor?
From Marat.
Marat. It's always Marat. Nothing can stop that swinish mudslinger from slandering the most upstanding subjects in the kingdom. Ah, if I'd gotten hold of him, I would have ensured he loses taste for gossip, believe you me. Me, throwing the people to the wolves. What a foul accusation. I see the Duc d'Orléans' hand in this. A prince without a kingdom, but a master in the art of treachery. From exile, the wretch will stop at nothing to bring down the dynasty. He would go so far as to do away with the queen and her children, but I don't intend to let it happen. The day is fast approaching when I will make him pay.
Goodbye, Monsieur le Marquis. Monsieur de Mirabeau. I found a broken cane. It says Franciscus Antonius on it. Do you know who it belongs to?
Well, I never. Yes, I know the owner. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a certain François Antoine.
That's right.
Well, you'd need to look a little further east, mademoiselle. Across the Rhine, for a start. Because this cane belongs, or belonged, to a certain Franz Anton Mesmer.
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans.
Good heavens, it's been a long time since I've heard his name.
5 years to be exact since your learned commission denounced his theories.
It wasn't long after that when he disappeared.
Can you tell me more about Mesmer?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended several of his sessions.
You mentioned a commission.
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity within the court. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of Sciences.
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed allowed us to determine that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatanism, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career the moment it was published.
But there was something, Sylvain, a tiny flow of energy that my devices were able to measure.
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce your observations? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
When and how did Monsieur Mesmer disappear?
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long descent into hell for Monsieur Mesmer. He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his research in virtual secrecy. I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called science and restore his reputation with the Academy.
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God only knows what experiments they may have carried out. In any case, their collaboration did not last long. Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom overnight to return to his mother country.
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had the devil at his heels.
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything he owned. Furniture, belongings, and scientific equipment. And it seems that Cagliostro has inherited this treasure.
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true, that broken cane must have passed into the Count's hands.
Yes, it's likely.
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. And he has been very busy recently. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to Rue Saint-Honoré. on the Tuileries side. I wonder what he was doing there.
What were Monsieur Mesmer's theories?
He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism. He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by passing his hands over patients and using magnets.
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices, each stranger than the last. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know that he ever cured anyone.
What happened during Monsieur Mesmer's treatment sessions?
Oh, they were quite a spectacle to behold. Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burned to intoxicate the soul and cloud your vision. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from countess to duchess to the sound of a sensual melody. And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wandering hands, presiding over the wonderful scene. Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning, crying, and falling into a swoon, clinging to that strange tub. Du théâtre, ma chère. Pure theater.
Monsieur de Mirabeau, what does this letter mean?
Who gave you the right to read my correspondence?
I'm curious about how you got rid of Italia. As if it burned your fingers.
To tell you the truth, you're not entirely wrong. It is a missive sent by my father, the Marquis de Mirabeau, the scoundrel who shamelessly dares to call himself the friend of man. He writes to say that he is on the brink of death, in such a desperate state that he has received extreme unction. This reprobate used his final moments on this mortal plane to send me threats yet again. He swears that he will torment me from beyond the grave.
How is that possible?
To my knowledge, he has not yet deigned to shuffle off this mortal coil. In any case, the satisfaction of knowing he is dead would not assuage my concern. This man is more persistent than the plague. He is capable of anything. He has spent his entire life persecuting his family. And I believe he is ready to spend his eternal rest continuing to do the same. I need to know what he's planning.
Where is he now?
At his home in Argenteuil. Given the circumstances, going to ask him for an explanation is out of the question. But the man who heard his final confession is here.
Monseigneur de la Fare.
Precisely. Only this confounded shaveling refuses to tell me a word of what the old dragon confided to him. He stubbornly insists on the secrecy of confession. Bon sang. Will we ever be rid of these damned superstitions? Aegis, would you be so kind as to intercede with the bishop? Perhaps you will be able to make him change his mind.
Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
Goodbye, Monsieur.
How is your research on Nicholas Flamel going?
I have done nothing yet.
Don't take too long, Aegis. Don't forget that the tomb is in the crypt of the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, under the cemetery. The church isn't far from the Hôtel de Ville.
Goodbye. Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Monseigneur, I would like to talk to you about your recent meeting with the Marquis de Mirabeau.
What has gotten into all of you? This has gone on long enough. I will say it one last time and pray that they will finally leave me alone. Nothing and no one will make me violate the secrecy of his confession. Have I made myself clear?
Perfectly clear, Monseigneur. Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Goodbye.
Allez en paix.
Monsieur de Mirabeau. Alas, the bishop stubbornly refused to reveal anything.
Damn it. I need to know what my rogue of a father is up to. Let me think. In light of the cartload of threats he sent me, it's safe to wager that my sister and mother received similar letters. They may even have already suffered his revenge. However, my sister lives in Grasse in the south of France. Unless a messenger rode 100 horses to death, she could not have received this letter. Then there is my poor mother.
If you ask me, I will go to find her.
Yes, it's very kind of you to offer. But I couldn't even tell you where she is staying.
Your own mother?
Indeed. It's a very embarrassing matter. A secret, which I beg you not to divulge.
I can be discreet. Rest assured.
Very well. You should know that my mother, the Countess of Covey, has lost everything. Truly. First her fortune, then her faculties. No matter what I tried, nothing could prevent her decline. It is said that she is now living on charity, in the most abject poverty in the slums of the Marais. If perchance your past takes you to this dreadful place, and if she still remembers who she is, perhaps you may meet her. Have you found my mother? Remember, rumor has it she...
Goodbye.
Have you found Monsieur Marat?
Yes. You were right. He is hiding in the quarries of Montmartre.
Did he show you the way to the Bastille?
No. But he told me about the tunnels that will take me to the Temple. From there, I can fight my way to the Bastille.
The man is trustworthy, as long as he does not count you among his enemies. You should leave us, and take up his advice immediately.
As for the lanterns...
Did Monsieur de Laclos tell you the secret of his explosive cannonball?
No. We didn't talk about it.
That's a pity. Without his help, our strategy is doomed to failure. Let's see. I know he's close to Monsieur Marat, the patriotic journalist. He's currently in hiding in the quarries of Montmartre. But please do not breathe a word of this to the Marquis de Lafayette. Those two are at daggers drawn. It would certainly end in a bloodbath.
Were you present when the Estates General was dissolved?
Oui, madame. I had a front row seat. I witnessed what it cost to defy the crown. We laid bare before the king the abject misery of his subjects. It was more than he could suffer. So he had the people's representatives dispersed by means of bayonets. At least we only had to contend with soldiers made of flesh and blood. Positively angelic compared to the machines that have swept through Paris.
Goodbye, Monsieur de Robespierre. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Diable! You must find a way to get there and put an end to this threat.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Did you find out what Cagliostro was up to near the Tuileries?
No, not yet.
Remember what Monsieur de Mirabeau told us? He said the Count looked extremely busy near the Tuileries.
Goodbye, Monsieur B. Monsieur Raymond.
Go on, Aegis.
What is the aim of this organization?
We publish articles and exert our influence on those who are in a position to improve the lot of our unfortunate brethren. Our numbers grow by the day, and we have many illustrious members, such as the Comte de Mirabeau and the Marquis de Lafayette. But it was Monsieur Brissot and the Abbot that founded the group.
Good old Brissot. Shouldn't he be here by now?
Yes, mon père. He should have arrived hours ago. Alas, there has been no sign of him.
I hope to God that no misfortune has befallen him.
What fate does the kingdom reserve for those with black skin?
According to tradition, any enslaved person who sets foot on French soil is freed.
This rule is most problematic in the eyes of planters in the colonies, who would seek to maintain their precious labor force.
This is why, for the past 12 years, no black people have been allowed to disembark in any of the kingdom's ports. Those who accompany their masters on the journey are imprisoned in the Admiralty's jails the moment they leave the ship. As for those who manage to evade the authorities, they live in fear of the raids carried out by the Marshalsea.
Are you not subject to these laws, Monsieur Raymond?
I am fortunate enough to have been born a subject of the king through my father, and also to have received an education, and to be wealthy.
Naturally, that makes all the difference.
You are quite a long way from home, Monsieur Raymond.
I haven't been back to Saint-Domingue in nearly 5 years. I left my most trusted men in charge of overseeing my indigo plantation. I came to France with the aim of having an audience with the king. I hoped to convince him to use his automats for agricultural work. I was of the belief that this was the best way to ease the suffering of our enslaved brethren. Alas, it was all for naught. I was only able to get an audience with the Minister of the Navy, and even that was granted reluctantly. Later, when the king convened the Estates General, my hopes were renewed. I saw it as an opportunity to make our voices heard. And then, mon Dieu, what a disaster, Aegis. What a complete disaster.
See you later, perhaps.
Je patate hein, quand même. C'est ça qui est un petit peu chiant, tu vois, c'est que généralement quand tu vas faire une ou deux quêtes, c'est bon, faut pas aller à tout le monde, t'en as dans tous les sens du terme, ça dure une demi-heure, trois quarts d'heure. Vaut mieux pas faire ça en pleine nuit, hein. Tu peux être sûr que tu t'endors devant. Bon, après ça reste intéressant à suivre. Bon, j'ai pas avoir autre chose. Hop. t'as pas le choix à leur parler en fait. Hein. Quand tu regardes, ça te débloque, enfin ça te donne les clés pour débloquer les portes. Y a pas vraiment le choix en fait. Putain, tu m'as attaqué, je sais pas quand. Vas-y, j'attaque quand moi. Tricheur, moi, joueur. Là. Tous les autres, tu te laisses des ouvertures d'os, mais lui, par contre, il te lâche pas. Hein. Elle bouffe, hein, pour elle. Peut-être qu'il renforcera plus. Nu är de fler. Det är mycket. Ça va être compliqué ça. Merde, quoi. Putain, putain, ici. Voilà.
the Tuileries and follow the directions on the receipt. It also mentions the Quartier du Saint-Eustache and Rue Saint-Honoré.
Oh, le petit trou sur la map, c'est pas bien. Oh, ça pique. Ouais, calme.
Be studied carefully. signature of the Marquis de Lafayette, so the rumors were true. The Garde Nationale wasn't formed spontaneously. All of this was carefully orchestrated. It is high time the Marquis de Lafayette explained himself. Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
You lied to me, General. Now I know all about your machinations.
And what could you possibly think you know?
I know that you raised the National Guard for the sole purpose of taking command of it. There was nothing spontaneous about the uprising.
Do you have any evidence to support your accusations?
I do. I have the manifesto.
Bon sang.
Why resort to this manipulation?
You must understand. What I have done, I did for the good of the kingdom. I wanted to stop this massacre while protecting the Queen and the Dauphin. In the name of the people, Aegis. But an actual uprising of the people would have inevitably led to disaster. Only professional soldiers could organize and lead the resistance.
Who were your accomplices?
My brothers in arms. The brave men of the Régiment de Saintonge. Veterans of the American War. Men who at the Battle of Yorktown brought an empire to its knees. Alas, we gravely underestimated the enemy's forces. We thought we would face an infantry supported by a handful of machines, but an entire army of automats. It was unthinkable.
Some accuse you of harboring a lust for power. The circumstances were to your advantage.
These aspersions are all too familiar to me. But tell me, if I wanted the crown for myself, why did I not take it when I returned from America? When I had seasoned troops at my command and the people sang my praises with one voice? No, that makes no sense. Though I readily admit that I do believe I am worthy of fulfilling an important role for the Queen after her son is crowned. Lieutenant General of the Kingdom, for example. Or even, if circumstance requires, the Regent. Voila. Now you know everything. I haven't left anything out. However, this truth, if it were made public, would play right into my enemy's hands. So I ask you not to reveal anything I've just told you, and to give me the manifesto.
C'est entendu, General. Here.
Aegis, by doing this, you're not saving my honor. You're saving the future of the entire kingdom. Oh, and one more thing. Can you tell me where I can find my detractor? The one who told you the rumors about me?
I cannot tell you anything, General.
Oh, no matter. I will not let this serpent continue to vilify me. I shall get redress for these aspersions in the end.
Do as you wish, General de Lafayette. Goodbye, Monsieur le Marquis. Monsieur Marat.
Madame?
I'm surprised to find you here. Did you follow me?
Didn't you know? The Duke's allies are always impeccably informed. Some even say that we have eyes and ears everywhere.
What do you want from me?
To tell you the truth, I can't wait to hear what you've discovered about the matter at hand. And I was afraid you might leave me in the lurch. You can never be too cautious these days. That's why I decided it would be better for me to come to you.
I found no incriminating facts. Nothing to indicate that the Marquis was involved in a conspiracy.
Come now, what do you mean? You sure you're not leaving anything out?
Why do you assail this man so?
Because I will not permit things to go from bad to worse. I will not allow the patriots who are now fighting our tyrant to suffer yet another oppressor. That's why, in the name of the French people, I ask you one last time, do you have any proof to give me?
No. You must believe me.
Eh bien, if that's true, then there's no hope for us. I must admit defeat. We will have either the King or Lafayette, one despot or another. In either case, my fate is sealed. I will soon join the Duke in exile, and I will abandon my beloved people to their doom. I have no other choice.
Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
Goodbye.
How is your research on Nicholas Flamel going?
I found a note from a carpenter addressed to the workshop of a certain Joseph Balsamo.
Well, I've never heard of him. What does it say on the note?
It's just a delivery note. But the address is near the Tuileries.
You should go there without delay, Aegis.
Goodbye, mon père. Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Good.
Allez en paix.
Monsieur Raymond.
Go.
See you.
Did you find out what Cagliostro was up to near the Tuileries?
No, not yet.
Remember what Monsieur...
Goodbye. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Agent?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Diable. You must find a way to get there and put an end to this threat.
The clues I found at the warehouse.
Diable.
Goodbye.
What of your plan to go to the Bastille?
I am working on...
The tunnels under...
As for the lanterns...
Did Monsieur de Laclos tell you the secret of his explosive cap?
No.
That's a pity. Let's see. I know he's currently... But please, it would serve...
Will you...
We'll... So, elite pod...
Goodbye.
Have you found my mother?
No.
Remember,
Goodbye.
Salut. En grosso modo, le but du jeu, c'est de retrouver le mec qui a créé les machines qui tuent tout le monde pour pouvoir l'arrêter. En termes simples. Donc du coup, tu vas y rencontrer quelques personnages historiques de la France, grosso modo, avec tous plus ou moins leur histoire, plus ou moins affiliés, etc. quoi. Avec leur complot et j'en passe. Il est trop partout. J'ai même pas fait gaffe. Ah ouais, plutôt très bien avancé, effectivement. Grosso modo, j'attaque, enfin je termine plutôt les quêtes annexes. Au niveau de l'histoire principale, ouais, j'y suis arrivé quasiment au bout quoi. Ça, apparemment ça parle de points de non-retour, donc j'imagine que je dois être au bout. Donc j'en profite pour finir les quêtes annexes, qui sont grosso modo liées à l'histoire de toute façon. D'ailleurs je trouve ça un peu dommage parce que autant dans la majorité des jeux t'as des quêtes annexes qui ont quasiment rien à voir avec l'histoire principale, voire rien à voir du tout. Ici en fait elles sont toutes liées quoi. C'est-à-dire que tu loupes une grosse partie de l'histoire sur les personnages et compagnie qui est liée vraiment à l'histoire principale si tu les fais pas. En plus de débloquer parfois du matos, des armures, des armes, des trucs comme ça. Donc ça sera un peu dommage de pas les faire.
You monster. What do you want with me? Wasn't it enough for you to steal my dancer?
I'm merely obeying the king, mademoiselle. Don't be afraid. You and your beloved machine will soon be reunited. I give you my word.
Voila, here we are. Do you see that window? That's where she's waiting for you. Sale petite peste. I suggest you don't try that again.
Atanias. Her in this workshop. So that is the name that the Comte de Cagliostro uses to conduct his business discreetly. This notebook appears to be very old. I should show it to Abbe Grégoire.
Oh. Faut que j'améliore cette arme. Obligé.
stay with me always, n'est-ce pas? Without you, mon ami, I'd be all alone. This box is covered in astronomical symbols. It's no use. I can't get it open. I should show this to Monsieur Bay.
Putain, jure, j'ai pas assez. Merde. Ouais. Putain, c'est con, c'est efficace, ça consomme de l'enduit. Hein. Non, c'est pas le bon morceau. Oups.
Can I help you, Aegis?
What is the significance of these objects steeped in memories?
Nemes. I have reread every work that I have on them. Pages that have remained unintelligible to this day. These echoes go back to the beginning of time, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician took it into his head to bind a soul to an inanimate object. You see, Aegis, there is nothing more diabolical, nothing more unnatural than this sorcery. The soul is the very essence of the divine. It refuses to submit to such an abomination and resists, eventually breaking. The earliest necromancers whose works have survived through the centuries all describe the same phenomenon. When a soul is fragmented, 3 shards of memory are torn from its consciousness and take shelter in 3 objects that the victim held dear. It's as if these memories wish to remain bound to the mortal who had held them until then.
I found this notebook written in Latin.
Indeed. Medieval Latin, to be precise. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. Aegis, what a find. This handwriting. I would recognize it anywhere. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what I'm able to glean from it.
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. In this diary, Flamel tells of 3 journeys. 3 journeys into what he calls the in-between. A strange world filled with wandering souls. Tormented spirits that are unable to ascend to heaven.
This world. It's where Cagliostro's victims were trapped until I freed them.
En effet, I believe you're right. But that's not all. Flamel planned to return there a 4th time. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting, dated 21st of March 1418. That was the day before he died, Aegis. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? What if he were trapped, a prisoner in this purgatory? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, then it can be separated from it too. And if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory, where Cagliostro entraps the souls of his victims.
Hold on. Are you trying to convince me to go and find Nicholas Flamel?
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Surely you won't pass it up.
Assuming I agree to venture into purgatory, do I even have a chance of finding him there?
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zenith of the place where it left the body of the deceased. Or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed, you'll need to go to the house where he drew his dying breath.
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency, in the Quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. You can get there via the cemetery of the Église Saint-Jacques.
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this automat?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, we would need to stop your machinery. For a short time, of course. We don't want to lose you, ma chère. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics, chemistry, or electric currents, or something or other. Therein lies the problem. This is far beyond my comprehension. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could shed some light on the matter.
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur Bailly. I found this box with astronomical symbols on it. I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athenais' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her on her 15th birthday.
I wasn't able to open it.
Naturellement. Athenais and I are the only ones who know how. Allow me. You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athenais' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athenais is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished possession in all the world. To think, the poor child never knew her own mother.
Lydia! You monster! What did you do to her?
Good God. Lydia, what happened? You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. At Anais de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. Athenais. It is her spirit that animates you. Is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination. It is vital that you go and find Athenais as soon as possible.
She is right in front of you. I am Athenais.
Alas, I fear that is not entirely accurate. You know nothing of Athenais, Lydia. Nothing of her past, her joys, her suffering. Nothing of her love for her father. You are but the vessel that harbors the poor child's soul.
Where can I find Athenais' body?
God only knows. Although I assume that the Comte de Cagliostro is taking pains to keep her
On va
alive,
comprendre l'erreur.
this is certainly
C'est
the only
censé
way
être
to keep her
Athénaïs,
spirit alive in you.
enfin son
The
âme,
only way to free her is to find
et lui
her
l'appelle
body.
Ludien. Bon.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson imprisoned in the Bastille?
Once he discovered the king's true intentions, he refused to continue cooperating with him. He refused to use his talents to create this abominable army. But the king didn't take kindly to his resignation. Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just before he was arrested. Here, take it.
L'histoire de Lydia. Ok, bon, c'est peut-être son prénom, je sais pas. Ma sœur. Bon, de toute façon, c'était un peu sûr. Répertéant qui commence à te parler de magie et j'en passe. Bon, c'était presque sûr qu'il y avait une âme liée à la machine, quoi. Moi, ça c'est bien foutu, c'est plutôt sympa.
Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Do you think there is any way to interrupt my internal clockwork?
To what end?
I would like to briefly sever the bond between my spirit and this automat.
It is a very strange request, madame. For what purpose do you seek to free your soul from its shell?
According to the abbot, my spirit would then be able to visit purgatory.
Oh, that dreadful place. Why on earth would you want to go there?
I hope to find answers to some very important questions.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. We are ignorant as to the principle that imbues you with life, nor do we know how your machinery works. That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. It would mean taking an unacceptable risk. Of course, if we had documents that could shed light on the matter.
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon ami?
Lydia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modifications ordered by the king. He wanted my opinion on the potential for reducing the size of certain key parts. The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared by Lydia and Aegis.
Bon sang, you're right. Where are the blueprints now?
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept them in the safe at the observatory, but earlier, when I went there to collect my most important documents, before setting off for the convent, I found looters making off with its contents.
Blasted scavengers. Their kind are always quick to make the most of chaos.
I chased them to the quays, but was unable to apprehend them. When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre, I decided it was best not to follow them.
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are everywhere, and the marauders don't stand much of a chance.
I'll try to track them down. Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier. Balsamo. So that is the name that the Comte de Cagliostro uses to conduct his business discreetly.
Ben n'empêche, tu vois, j'aurais fait l'impasse sur les quêtes secondaires et j'aurais pas vu d'où elle menait.
It hurts. It hurts.
Steel yourself, Claude. Just be thankful you got out alive.
Bad shape.
Et puis quoi? Don't you think it was worth it? This tunnel is a gold mine. With what we've managed to gather, we'll be set for a long time.
C'est ce que je cherche.
Goes there.
Bon sang, let's get the hell out of here. Run, Claude. Run if you can.
Oh, my lure. I told you we'd get caught.
C'est con ça. Il s'est fait geler par son pote.
Observatory. They didn't stand a chance.
C'est un peu dommage quand même. Les coffres, dans les tout derniers coffres, ils s'emmerdent même plus à te filer du matos. Juste des jetons pour retourner vite fait au carrosse. C'est un peu dommage.
Ludius blueprints. Fortunately, they are in perfect condition. Monsieur Bailly will be delighted. Monsieur Bailly. Here are the blueprints you asked for.
Good heavens. You found them.
Your thieves were not able to profit much from their theft. They met with an unfortunate end.
Oh, the poor souls. Their crimes did not deserve such a permanent ending.
Certainly, certainly. Let us look at these documents now, if you will.
No, Antoine, the F-wheel is not part of the cog that transfers the driving force to the escapement.
Diable, you're right. It's driven by the B-wheel, and its axis is on the shaft that's visible at this point.
Precisely. In fact, the shaft sits between the conical bearing and the small groove here. See?
True. It's decided then. All we would have to do is separate these two plates to disable the entire thing.
And to put them back in place at the agreed time to start the machine again.
You will not be able to assist me. I have to do it alone. Half a league away.
You must be joking.
By no means. You'll have to find another solution.
Unfortunately, madame, you're asking us to do the impossible.
Oh, ça, par exemple.
Once your spirit is untethered from this automat, it will be impossible for you to start the machine up again.
Hold on, my dear Antoine. Is this device in Figure 4? Is it still in place?
Yes, it is. What of it?
Bon sang. It's a timer. It's primitive, true, but fully functional.
The dial has marks from 1 to 15. Probably minutes.
It was to allow Eugène to plan the duration of Ludia's dances in advance.
Oh, I see. And by reversing the position of this peg in the center, we could instead turn it into a period of inactivity.
Nous y sommes, mon ami. Fantastic.
Will Aegis be able to operate this device herself?
We'll make it easier for her. All you have to do is put a bolt there that she can remove when the time is right. Yes, a small iron rod will suffice. We won't have any trouble finding something that will do. When the timer dial reaches 0, the automat will come back to life. However, given the dial's fragility, we will probably get only one chance to try this.
Are you sure that the bond between my soul and this machine will be re-established?
Ma foi, I admit that we can't be sure of this. What do you say, mon père?
Don't be afraid, Aegis. Unless I've been wrong from the beginning, your soul will seek refuge in the only body it has available to it in this world.
Well then, shall we start the preparations?
Let's begin. My fate is in your hands, monsieur.
Voila. Everything is in place. When it's time, just pull on this metal loop to start the timer.
Remember, you will have 15 minutes and no more before your spirit returns to your body. We wish you good luck, madame.
Remember, to get to Rue de Montmorency, you're best going through the cemetery behind the Église Saint-Jacques in the Quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. Here is the key to the gate. Our prayers are with you, my child.
Bon bah ça avance. Ouais, genre t'as le temps de t'exploser en fait. Oups, ça va pas bien. Ok, c'est la clé pour aller là-haut. Oh, je sais bien qu'elle en est. C'est qui pique l'enfoiré. Putain la vache, il rigole pas lui. Oh, genre la portée, t'abuses. Ah, parce que la portée et la largeur qu'il a celui-là. Ah ok d'accord, c'est ceux qui tombent pas au 21, ils leur foutent le gros en fait. T'as eu mal hein? Ouais. C'est le gosse. Oh, oh vas-y ça saoule. L'autre il attaque devant, putain mais c'est court, tellement loin derrière que tu te fais toucher à chaque coup quoi. Non mais sérieusement quoi. C'est un peu fumé ça. Allez bon, je vais te faire que là maintenant. Un fleur. Allez, petite pause, je reviens. Hop là. Non, je vais de revenir. Hein. Coucou, j'étais pas devant. Hop là. Non. Sinon, ouais, ça va tranquillou, toi. Désolé un peu le temps de réponse. Et du coup, t'as vu quoi de beau? Et verdict? Dis-moi tout. C'est moi j'ai eu de trop me spoiler comme je l'attends avec impatience. Non, tu déconnes. Il y a une version démo. Oh putain, il faut que je teste ça. Ah, fallait pas me dire ça. Alors ça, c'est pas mal du tout. Et du coup, il était prévu sur PC aussi, il me semble, non? Ok.
Monsieur.
Zoos! Praise be to the Holy Mother of our Lord, at last thou speakest! Gentle dame, you have erred here for so long, not a word uttered. In singular contemplation of such terrible slaughter.
A long time, you say? That's not possible, sir. I've just now appeared to you.
Nay, but thou must trust me. And thou wast hardly alone in this temple. There were many travelers, stiff and silent, all in agony. All bound to the anchor stone.
Attends, bouge pas, je regardais ça. Putain, c'est écrit comment monsieur le vieux? Ouais, pour l'instant je vois rien dessus, à moins que je l'ai mal écrit. Peut-être ça. Alors démo ou pas démo là-dedans? Je sais pas, je vois pas de démo pour l'instant. J'espère qu'il faut pas le préco. Ah, attends, quoique. Ah bah si, il y a une démo. J'ai rien dit. 15 go minimum. Bon, j'espère que ça va pas saboter le stream. Bon, c'est la fibre, ça devrait le faire normalement. Il n'y a pas de raison. Et pour combien? 6 minutes? 5? Ouais, 5 minutes? 4 minutes de téléchargement. Ouais, ça va le faire.
What travelers do you speak of?
first to arrive was a sobbing child searching for his mother.
Ah bah écoute, on va voir ça après. Bah c'est gentil en tout cas de leur dire. Si j'aurais pas vu, tu vois.
Then those whose thoughts passed through me. A minister of God tormented by doubt.
Hold on. A minister of God? Monsignor de la Fare?
A scholar with soul star-filled, and a learned master of alchemy.
Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier.
A usurer who shed so many tears for his lady.
Monsieur Necker, mourning his wife.
All bound to the anchor stone. Wretched souls, their ascension to the heavens repelled.
The anchor stone, monsieur?
Lapis philosophorum.
The philosopher's stone.
Aye! Vile knave who took it for his own lately. No count is he but that of trespass and perfidy.
Cagliostro.
Well met. Rope for this varlet and I shall be
Ah
avenged.
tu m'étonnes, merci encore à toi. Il sort quand officiellement du coup, ils ont donné une date? Enfin, plus précise que 2023.
The terrible slaughter. You say I was just observing the massacres?
Aye, vile innumerable crimes. The devil's own accursed titans and their restless horde. They drinketh from the lake where the souls of the dead sleep. Men and women offered in sacrifice to feed the pyre. Then the terrible maw was opened, and in flowed legion of the dead. Ne'er hast I seen such and so many here during all my stay. Oh! The stone is verily mine dark confine. Lonely, so lonely, that mine vessel is no more, and my soul still cloistered in this place.
Ok, ça marche.
I do despair of
Ouais, faudra compter, je pense, sur les coups de juin. Cette attraction en début d'année, ce serait trop beau.
You want me to break the stone that contains your soul? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Aye, my God.
À ce point-là.
Do you know where this stone is? You've been buried for more than 3 centuries, monsieur.
The precious jewel, sublime treasure, was inscribed in my legacy, my testament. On my tomb engraved, gentle dame, on the tomb!
What a strange encounter. I must tell Abbe Grégoire about it immediately.
Premier semestre. Ok, ouais, ça pourrait être intéressant alors. Peut-être du coup, peut-être sur février-mars. Tu me diras, ça correspondra à peu près à la date de New, pourquoi pas. Il y a des chances du coup. Hop. Prévu, ok. Cool, bon bah c'est téléchargé, impeccable. Il n'y a plus qu'à test. Ouais, c'est ça, et Nioh, de toute façon, c'est toujours sorti en février. Enfin, en tout cas, le premier, le 2, je crois que c'était pareil, hein, si je dis pas de bêtises. Donc, ouais, ce sera à peu près pareil, de toute façon. Février, mars, grand max. Voilà, du coup, je coupe là, j'ai lancé la démo. Là, ça m'a rendu trop curieux. Eh ben, je te dis à tout de suite, puis à plus pour les autres.